Hi everybody. I am sorry for the delay. I know I was supposed to post 2 episodes last month, but October was really hard for me. So I am working on editing the episode right now, and I'm not using my normal microphone because I'd have to go upstairs for it, and there's a puppy in my lap. So, oh well. Hope you enjoy. Love you lots. Bye. Hello everyone! Today we are playing Stars Without Number. It is a sci-fi tabletop role-playing game that I am completely unfamiliar with and should not have tried to prepare for day of, so this will be a party. My name is Ryan. I use she, her pronouns. Dennis, why don't you introduce yourself, your pronouns, your character's name, and your character's pronouns?
Alright, my name is Dennis Foray. I use he, they pronouns. Today I'll be playing Vex Rattertax. He uses he, him pronoun.
So, I want to say that you've been living in a colony on Shylin for the last few months. Honestly, you haven't been there very long. And just to confirm, is your character a human?
He is a human. Yeah, I would say he's just a normal, he's a gruff, very disheveled looking dark-skinned man. He's got like very nice dreadlocks that are intertwined in a fun sci-fi way. You can imagine that one.
Oh yeah. So what does Threx usually do during the day, seeing as this is a rather new colony on this planet?
The specific background I chose was the vagabond. Vex doesn't really stay around anywhere in one place too long. He's moving from job to job. He's a big workhorse, you know. He feels his purpose when he's getting credits at the end of the day. So every day he's working some odd job, if not working towards the goal of a bigger one.
So maybe you got on this colony in the first place because you've kind of become known as a jack of all trades.
And there's some good work here on Shylin.
All right, perfect. So you're going about your business. Maybe today you are tending to crops when you feel slight tremors. Maybe you brush it off at first, but those tremors are getting more and more explicit as time passes. And then a siren goes off. And it's not a sound you've heard before. And after a couple minutes of the siren, you hear,
"Warning! Volcano eruption! Warning! Volcano eruption! Warning!
And it's
Volcano
just
eruption! Warning!
on repeat.
Volcano eruption! Warning! Volcano eruption!
And then you smell
Warning.
smoke.
Volcano eruption! Warning! Volcano eruption!
What is Threx's first reaction to the siren and this warning and smoke?
I think he gets alarmed immediately, and he starts looking around to anyone around the crop share, or even the possible family that charged him with this task, to see what's going on, see if they're okay.
I think they mostly look confused. There is a volcano within sight of the colony that you are at. The company that set up this colony, and many of the colonies on this planet, kind of did so in a rush. So they definitely knew that the volcanoes were there. That's kind of hard to miss with your AI drone surveillance of a place before you just plop people on it. But looking at these other people, it looks like to them they are just as lost for what you're supposed to do next as you are. And they've definitely been here longer than you.
Is there like an evacuation plan? Why are we just standing around? The sirens is going off. I smell smoke.
I think the Thraxan woman who hired you for the day looks at you with a new intensity. She's always been an intense woman, but this is different. And she says, "You do. We can't smell things like you can. You smell smoke."
Yeah,
Volcano
Can't
eruption.
smell smoke.
Warning. Volcano eruption.
And before she can
Volcano eruption.
explain that Thraxians don't smell
Eruption.
things in the same way that humans do, there is an explosion, and there is screaming, and there is running.
Volcano eruption.
Yeah, Vex will just take off in that direction.
Warning. Volcano
Yeah, that seems to be what everyone's doing. There's a lot of taking off in a direction without much planning.
Volcano eruption.
You see people who have just been trying to make the best of things like you have been. You see some people who are supposed to be managing this place, some people from Halcyon Industries, some people from intergalactic government, all looking completely surprised as this volcano in the distance, not a far distance, but the distance, starts erupting.
Volcano eruption.
And before you can ask any of them what to do next, a woman with brown skin and purple eyes has grabbed onto your sleeve, and she's carrying this bundle, and she is bleeding from the mouth.
What's the matter? As he goes to essentially get her within her arms, just to brace her a little bit, which kind of puts the bundle into his left arm as he's trying to hold on to her the right arm to see if she's all right.
Take them. Keep them safe. Please. And she sways, and then she doesn't make any sound.
Vex kind of just falls with her, still with the grasp around the small of her back to kind of gently let her limp body down on the ground. And as he fully takes it and she's passed, he does the classic closing their eyes trope. And then kind of stands up with the bundle in his arms. I think everything's too hectic for him to want to check it out right now. So he'll continue moving amongst the crowds, trying to find just the quickest entry or exit point, if there's any ship he can find.
The few ships there are rather small, and they are already taking off. But what is a tremendous surprise to you, there is a massive ship that you can now see not only entering the atmosphere, but coming down faster and faster and closer to your colony. And it takes you a moment to decipher the writing on the side. It's in a different language than you are accustomed to, but I think everyone who has ever been able to access holo programming has seen this name in commercials. This is the Starview Oasis. It is a luxury cruise ship, and it definitely shouldn't be here. But it lands. You're going to have to run to get close to it before the impending flows of lava reach you.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
But it does land, and it opens its doors. So you can try to catch one of these smaller ships that are closer and are currently leaving, or you can try to book it to this luxury cruise ship. Other than that, with the chaos and the lava and the officials not knowing what to do, there aren't a lot of other options.
Yeah, so I think Vex is going to go for the Starview Oasis. And I did specifically get a skill with my Vagabond playbook that is Survive, if you want me to roll plus that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Remind me if I'm wrong, because I've lost which window my rulebook is in, but this is a D6 system, right?
Yeah, it's a 2d6 system.
Okay, perfect. Let's roll it.
Wonderful. I got an 8.
8. Let's say it's equal. I think you do succeed in this, but it's hard. Oh, I really was expecting that system to be more like Monster of the Week.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope, I got it. We're good. So I need to set a difficulty, and it's 1 through 12, and we'll go from there. Cool. Got it. Okay. So yeah, you do make it to this ship. You are one of the last people who manages to make it on this ship. You've got a mix of people who are clambering on. The heat is overwhelming. It's one of those things where you can see the effect of the heat on the environment. You've got that kind of wavy vision thing going on.
Yep.
And when I say you're one of the last ones on this ship, I mean you are grabbing the door, not really the door, the ramp as it's starting to go up into the ship.
Yep.
And other people are pulling you over this ramp so that you can all kind of slide down into the safety of the ship.
Love that.
And then the ship is lifting off. There are already sirens going off in the ship as well. And over the intercom, you hear, "This is Captain Moga speaking. You are on the Starview Oasis. Thank you for boarding our ship today. I regret to inform you that all of those sirens going off is because we are overheating. Not to worry, I have this under control. Please find the nearest emergency seat and strap yourselves in."
Vex will thank the people that helped him slip into the door just in time and then look around for the nearest emergency seating.
Some of the emergency seating is already up, but a lot of it is coming up out of the floor. Like, it is just getting activated. There is definitely a lot of scrambling to get into these seats. I think the people who helped you over are now rather protective of you because you all just got out of the situation together.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of like squeezing you between them and holding on to you. So you're not really in a seat, but you've kind of got like a seatbelt of arms thing going on.
Yeah, thank you kindly. This'll work as Vex is really working with the bundle still. And I think this is the first time since making it onto the ship that he's recognized he still has the child in his presence, or whatever in his presence, as he's linking arms here. But since he's linked arms, he can't really take full control of it. But this is the first time he kind of looks down at the swaddle of fabric.
Yeah, I think the fabric is parted just enough for you to see this kind of mottled blue skin and a little bit of a tuft of silvery hair. You can't see much more than that at the moment. The two people who are holding on to you are both Lavarian, so they are these scaly lizard-like humanoids, but they're, instead of having a longer snout that you would normally expect from this people, their snouts are kind of squished in.
Gotcha.
And one of them has kind of grayish green scales, and the one of them has like silvery blue scales. Mm-hmm. But they're also like checking on you and checking on each other for injuries. Mm-hmm. I think you have some minor burns, but nothing that just a bit of time won't take care of.
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you very much. It's nothing. A little time won't fix itself.
We're glad we could pull you over.
Yeah, it's not every day you start working a job and then a volcano goes off. But truly, I'm in your debt for helping me. And he just kind of raises the little bundle a little bit. Doesn't refer to it, but gestures like thank you for helping this out as well.
I think they're about to acknowledge that you have this bundle when the silvery blue scaled one looks out one of the windows that you just happen to be next to, and just quietly goes, "It's definitely not just one volcano." And as you look through the window, it is like a ball of lint catching on fire. You do watch it become slightly more distant until you are far enough away that it looks similar to the sun that you've already been relying on to grow the crops on this distant planet. The first planet that anyone settled in this sector, and it's gone.
It's real unfortunate. I don't know how long you were in that colony, but it's not a sweet thing to watch it go.
A few years. The turbulence of not only the moment, but of the sudden liftoff kind of slackens off and things smooth out. And you hear the captain again. You are now free to leave your emergency seating. We have left that planet's gravitational pull. We are happy to have you aboard. It's a bit of a strange situation. We weren't meant to be in this sector. I think a surprise wormhole pulled us through that should have been caught in our navigation programming, as if she's talking to someone in particular. In any case, I am glad that we were able to rescue you from this sudden incident, and I would like to express my condolences for the loss of your homes and your loved ones. If you are hungry or thirsty, please refer yourself to the nearest map. There are several places that you can go to eat, 6 of which are buffets, 8 of which are menued locations, 3 of those menu locations having a preset menu. And that's the end of that announcement.
It's a fancy ship they got here. As Vexel bid adieu to the 2 Lavarians, then begin walking away. As he begins talking to the bundle, well, looks like our moneymaker, the way we were gonna get our credits, went up in flames, but hey, we can probably try to grab a bite to eat, as now's the time that Vex starts undoing the swaddle a little bit to look at the creature he's been taking charge of.
You have never seen an alien, or I suppose we should really be saying another being, seeing as we're not on Earth right now, quite like this one. Like I mentioned, they have mottled blue skin. They also have overlarge eyes that appear to be black from corner to corner, but when he looks closer at these eyes, there are swirls of purple and blue and pink that are kind of responding to the input that they are receiving. They also are approximately the size and shape of a toddler with too many arms.
Oh, God.
5 arms, to be precise.
You're a funky little thing, aren't you? All right. Do you eat? Do you speak?
They blink at you with those very big eyes.
All right. Too young to know common yet. That's fine. Sure, everything was taxing on you as well. Sorry about your ma, I guess. But let's get some food in you, huh?
So when you find one of these maps, this is a massive ship. In my game notes, I put, think of the Floston Paradise.
Gotcha.
So lots of places to eat, plenty of pools, 4 different nightclubs, lots of stuff going on in this ship. There are other people that are kind of gathering around the map as well, dazed, confused, in shock, kind of par for the course for what's going on right now. Some of the people on this ship are definitely walking around like they know where they're going, and look annoyed, to say the least.
Well, I'm just gonna continue on my way. Vex isn't really a people person. He's kind of on the side of the people that look annoyed. I mean, he was very nice to the Lavarians because they did save his life. But it's just another job to him, another colony. There's a million stars out there. Like, so sad we lost this one, but it's on to the next job for Vex.
and whatever this little creature is, I guess.
Yeah. Gonna have to deal with you now, too, I guess. Alright.
So, does he head to one of the buffets, or is he trying to get a little fancier since, as far as he's aware, this is a free ride today?
That's true. No, I still think he would go to a buffet. I think mostly because it was a hard day's work as he was cropping. So he's big hungry. But also he doesn't know what the little one eats, so he needs a large enough spread to be able to test what they'll be able to eat.
Yeah. So you get to the buffet. There are some people who were along the same line of thinking as you. They're hungry. There's a lot of stuff here. They don't know what sector this cruise ship was last at, so they don't really know what kind of food it's going to have. A buffet seems like the best bet. And your new little buddy seems keen to kind of dip his hands in everything.
You can't just put your hands. It's very unsanitary. You gotta stop. As like Vex is also not like the cleanest man. Like not only just
but at
escaping.
least he's not full on plunging his arms into tanks full of tentacles.
If anything, the little one is cleaner than Vex, but.
What surprises you is that this little being seems to understand what you're trying to say and stops wholesale sticking limbs in pots and such and just kind of patiently waits for you to get food for both of you.
Yeah. Can you just point at what you want and I'll get you a little bit, all right?
All 5 little arms are pointing at something immediately.
I got in 5 different directions. That's wonderful.
Yes.
I'll get you what you need, man.
He just kind of hangs out. He's holding onto your neck so that he doesn't slip, but you can kind of like balance him in the crook of your elbow while you're getting all this stuff.
Yeah.
Once you sit down to eat, you see a group of 3 or 4 people kind of staring at you and this little being. You're not sure exactly which one of you their attention is focused on. But now that you've kind of had some time to sit and collect yourself, you are able to realize that they are wearing the same robes that the at least part human woman who gave you the being was wearing. They are white robes with golden thread, which is not easy to get out in the colonies. And the chest of these robes has a pattern of 7 suns in a circle on them. But they are paying very close attention to your table.
Alright, well, I think your free ride might have just ended, my little buddy, as Vex is gonna pick him up and start walking over towards the robed figures.
You do start to do that. One of his little hands does manage to grab one of the tentacles from the plate.
Yeah.
And then one of his other food-covered hands touches you on the forehead. And your vision goes white. And then you have a sense of danger about these 4 individuals in particular.
Oh, alright. Great. Alright, you got me into something, haven't you, little one? As Vex will stop heading towards them and immediately cut a hard right angle out of the restaurant.
He is munching away on his tentacle, but he's also keeping an eye over your shoulder. So it's kind of... when you first look at him, it's kind of like when you see a dog sticking his head out the window and the tongue's flapping, but it's not a tongue, it's the tentacle.
Love that, yeah.
And some people are just kind of getting out of your way because you seem to be in a hurry, but you definitely do hear very quick footsteps following behind you.
Okay. I do also have the sneak skill.
Perfect.
As a vagabond.
Let's see, there's about 4 people following you.
Yeah.
So yeah, roll that for me, please.
7.
7's not quite going to cut it. So you try to sneak away from these robed figures, and you turn a corner, probably getting closer to one of this ship's many gift shops, when one of the robed figures cuts you off, and he says, "We will be retrieving the key now."
I'm sorry. This key was actually gifted to me by someone else. Sorry you can't take it. Not for sale. As he'll try to, like, double back.
You try to double back, and you immediately see 2 of the remaining 3, and one of them says, "Brother Lethewin was not asking."
Alright, I don't know what you're about, who you are, or what you're trying to do. But I am not a fella who gets messed with, as Vexel uses free hand to kind of skirt. He's had, like, this kind of, like, half cape around his waist in a very sci-fi manner, and he pushes away the half cape to reveal that he has, like, a holstered weapon.
I think Brother Lethewin says, "You may strike us down, but there are many of us, and the Order of the Seventh Son does not give up easily."
There might be many of you, but looks like I only got to get through a couple of you today. And he'll draw the weapon just to see if that's enough to scare him off, along with, like, people watching Vex draw a weapon is enough to draw enough attention to get them to back off.
Yeah, I think one of them is definitely like, "Oh, I don't know about this." But before the others can react, there has been this kid watching you from one of the other restaurants. And he is there with a bunch of his buddies. I don't know at this moment if any of their parents made it onto this ship. But he just yells, "Food fight!" and then throws something with the consistency of mashed potatoes at one of these order gentlemen, and chaos.
And then Vex will use that distraction in the chaos to try to slip away once again.
I'm going to have you roll sneak again, but I'm going to tell you this. It's going to be a lot easier this time.
I rolled better. That's a 9.
That'll do it. You managed to slip away into the crowd and flying food and make your distance between yourself and at least 4 of these order members. Brother Lethewin did say that there were a lot of them on this ship. They didn't say how many, so that's something for you to think about.
Yep. And we're also in an enclosed space, so there's not much getting away for Vex right now.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a little limited in your options.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I can try to talk to the captain. I can slip away into one of these stores. What is your deal? As he's looking down at the little one. And I think he attempts to, like, take one of their 5 hands and place it to Vex's forehead to try to get another communication going.
I think they just kind of willingly let this happen.
Yeah.
And there's that vision going white moment again. This time it's a little hard to breathe as you see these flashing images of this being held by this order. Throughout the years, they have had many, many order mothers, people who have been assigned to take care of them. They have been waiting for the order to find what they have determined to be the realm of the Seventh Son. This sector, the 7th sector with a sun that humanity has discovered. The order is waiting to be able to offer the key to the guardian of the gaping maw.
That doesn't sound fun.
They shake their head very solemnly.
Alright, I'm not 100% what to do right now. I'm gonna keep you from these guys, the little one, but we're trapped here on this ship. I don't want to cause too much of a ruckus. They They led us on so kindly and saved us from Shaolin.
This little being hugs you around the neck.
Alright, we're still strangers here.
Oh, that got me. That got me good. I think you're kind of wandering around, not sure what to do, when one of the Starview Oasis's androids approaches you and says,
Good evening, sir. Would you like to be directed to your cabin?
Yeah, that'd be great. We could hide out there.
Wonderful. This way, please.
and this android leads you to a cabin. Hey everybody, short and sweet, I have Dennis from the Control Group podcast on the episode with me today. The Control Group is another one of the wonderful podcasts on our network. I'm going to drop in their ad here, and also in the description box I will drop their itch link so that you can check out other things that they've worked on, wonderful games and such. And other than that, enjoy the rest of the episode. Sorry I had to take that month off. Bye!
Bored of D&D? Want to try something else? Why not check out Control Group? We test systems so you don't have to. Using our patented mini campaigns along with one-shots, we test how far you can stretch systems with our unique ideas and broad storytelling. Our mission statement is to give a voice to those not often heard in the TTRPG community. So whether it be a system you've never heard of, or our testers being people of color, people on the LGBTQIA+ spectrum, we want to make sure our stories are broad, vast, and told from different perspectives. So whether you want classic role-playing or just big goofs, come listen to us try out systems, some of which we've even made ourselves. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts, or head over to controlgrouppod.com. That's CTRL, just like the key on your keyboard. There you can find the systems we test along with easily accessible PDFs. So check us out if you're into Monster of the Week, Passion de los Pasiones, Song of Fire and Ice, Lasers and Feelings, Gunsight, Void Worlds, Wizards and Wands, Stranded, Interstitial, The Last Shonen, and so much more!
You're seeing this happen throughout the ship. I think because of the sudden mass of people that they took on this ship, as well as the people who were already on this cruise when it was sucked through a wormhole.
Yeah.
People are having to double and triple up in these cabins,
Okay,
which,
fair.
while being large and luxurious for a cruise, it's still a cruise cabin. It's not huge.
Yeah.
So you are crammed in there with what looks to be 2 families and the best human term for this thing is a dog about the size of a greyhound, but she is covered in scales and her tail has spines on it.
It's a big pup right there. Don't touch him, all right, little one. Might hurt you.
The other families just kind of nod at you. They're pretty tired.
Yeah.
They're as crammed into the 2 beds as they possibly can be. There's not a bed left for you and the little one.
Yep.
But at least it's a safe, warm place to be.
Yeah. I think he'll sit against the nearest to a cabin or dresser or anything, and just kind of prop himself up there in an upright sitting position and put the little one in his lap as he still just contemplating what the next move should be.
I think one of the kids from one of these families does just kind of sleepily offer you a pillow. They've at least got the bed. You can have a pillow.
Thank you. As he'll take the pillow and then he'll set it up as a little bed for the little one.
Aww. You get to sleep. Night and day is not really the same out in space, where we don't have the sun to really indicate the passage of time. Is there anything in particular that he would like to do with his evening, loosely called, other than sleep?
Nah, I think he takes a minute to go into the washroom and washes some of the dirt off his face and soot from earlier, as he does the classic, just rubbing your face and then looking in the mirror to contemplate what have I done, what am I going through right now.
As you are looking at yourself in the mirror, some of the wounds that you have accumulated from the day, you realize now are gone. You also look to be several years younger than you did moments before meeting this tiny being.
Well, look at that, as he's admiring himself in the mirror. Not bad, Vex, not bad. And then it kind of hits him like, oh, that's not natural. As he'll turn around and look at the cracked door, which is cracked just enough to still look at the little one who's sleeping in his little pillow bed.
Sleeping in his little pillow bed, chewing on the corner.
Yeah. Alright, well, we gotta figure this out.
And you get some sleep. In the quote-unquote morning, you hear, "Good morning, passengers. This is your captain speaking. As you are aware, we are in deep space with no currently colonized planet around us. We are currently considering our options, which are divided amongst 4 planets. If you would like to partake in this discussion, as I currently feel is your right, please come to the 4C pool. Again, if you would like to take part in the discussion about the different planets we might arrive at, please come to the 4C pool. In the meantime, please welcome yourself to breakfast, and I hope you had a pleasant sleep." And then the announcement ends.
Vex will go and wake up the little one.
Yeah, their big old eyes are already just kind of looking around at everything. I don't know if you've really determined the pattern to how the eye swirlies react to things, but the more that you watch their eyes, it is clear that they don't really have pupils in the traditional sense. So it's really hard to determine how biologically these eye holes work.
Gotcha. Alright, so Captain's gonna listen to us on which planet we should head to, and although I don't really care where we head next, I could see these robed freaks trying to convince the captain get it closer to that maw you're so scared about, so might as well go to that meeting, try to make sure they ain't there, ain't trying to ruin the course of things.
They pick up the blanket that they were wrapped in and fling it over themselves, and then just kind of make these hands like, "I'm in disguise!"
Yeah, they'll never figure out what you are. Alright, come on. As Vex will just walk out without him, because he's been carrying him for so long that he's like,
Yeah, no.
Walk yourself for a little bit.
Yeah, he just waddles after you, looking around with his little makeshift blanket cloak on.
Just keep up, alright?
That is hard on his little legs, but he does do the best he can.
As Vex will continue along, quite often looking behind him to make sure he's still behind him.
Do you stop for breakfast, or do you go straight to this pool?
I'll probably go straight to the pool for the meeting.
Okay. I don't have to tell you that this is a lavish pool. The 4C pool is designed to look like a otherworldly grotto. No expenses spared. But at the top of one of the stone decoration structures is I named this kind of creature earlier, hold on, is a Gorvarian. She is big, even for someone of her kind. She is covered in dark red fur. Gorvarians are known for the spines that are usually hidden by their fur but can pop up during battle. Right now they're kind of wiggling is not the right word, but it's the best word I can come up with in agitation. In fact, let's see here. I don't know if this is how this skill is supposed to be used, but why don't you roll connect to see if you can't kind of glean any more of how she's feeling right now.
Perfect. I do. My final vagabond skill is notice.
Notice will work. Let's do notice.
Oh god, that was awful. 5.
You know, it's actually good enough.
Okay.
You've worked with some people like her before, so you kind of recognize by the way the fur is furrowing and falling that not only is she agitated, she is worried. This was not the way this trip was supposed to go.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah. who'd have thought?
Interesting.
Once there is a decent amount of people gathered, again, many of them looking quite annoyed, she looks basically at a wall behind everyone so that she doesn't have to look directly at you. And she says, "Our systems are not primed for finding planets to settle on. So of the options we have, we don't have very much information about them. I do, however, feel that it is necessary to tell you what we do know. One of the planets, I think I will just call Planet 1, is covered in a layer of ice. However, our readings have found that there is a center of warmth to this planet, so it is possible that we might be able to find a way through the ice to get to that warmth. Another planet seems to be primarily covered in water with few land forms upon its surface. The third planet is honestly quite similar to the planet that you refugees recently came from. However, considering the state of your last planet, I can understand your hesitation. And the fourth planet is surrounded by some sort of sphere that our readings can't get through, so we don't quite know what is on it. However, we will have to make a choice, because until we can find a source of hydrogen to refuel on, the Starview Oasis is running dangerously low on power."
As Vex will pontificate down to the little one. Alright, none of those sound like a ghastly maw, so we might be safe there.
They're nodding at you, taking this conversation very seriously in their little blanket cape.
Yeah, honestly, Planet 2 sounds the best, what with the water and the little bit of land forms, but it could be a nice little, much-needed getaway vacation.
They whip their little cape off and turn it into a skirt and kind of do an approximation of a hula dance, but like not a legit hula dance,
Yeah.
one from really old commercials that they just somehow found in your brainscape.
Yeah. Yeah, a little traumatized by the Shylin, so might not want to run with Planet 3. Planet 4 is just interesting. I don't know. Do you know where you're from, little one?
They place a hand on your forehead again. It's not as hard to breathe this time, but you're starting to realize that this flash of white blankness is always going to happen. And you see their people. You see them at varying ages, but you are also starting to understand that these people stay in their infancy for what humans would consider generations. It's hard to pinpoint how old this being is. But as they grow, they become strong. Each of their arms, I mean, they can use their arms for pretty much anything, just like we could, but they have a habit of specializing in certain skills and then having those specializations kind of split between the arms so that they can have muscle memory while they work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even the adult ones, it's hard to pin age on them. And then time seems to fast forward, and whether they were hunted or exposed to disease or what have you, these numbers dwindled. And then they take their hand away from your forehead.
Alright. I mean, evolutionary speaking, you being babies for a long time, this is a wonder you didn't thin out earlier. But... All
They
right.
shrug.
Which shoulders? All 5.
All 5.
Oh, God. Alright, well, I'll try to keep it going so you can go and repopulate or whatever.
They kind of knock their head to the side like, what does that mean?
I'll tell you when you're older.
People all around you are kind of having the same conversation you are.
Mm-hmm.
You do see some members of the Order of the Seventh Son. Mm-hmm. They have not seemed to notice you yet. Okay. The crowd's pretty thick. None of them appear to be the same ones that accosted you yesterday.
Mm.
But how much that actually helps you in this moment, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
After a moment of discussion,
mm-hmm.
The captain kind of opens the floor to let people speak. Some of them are in favor of that third planet. Mm-hmm. Yes, your last one just exploded, but at the same time, you know stuff grows there.
True.
Not a lot of people are leaning towards the ice planet.
Yeah.
And some of the more industrious of your number are actually really excited about that fourth planet because what kind of scientific discoveries might you be able to make?
Yeah.
However, the majority of people here, those very annoyed people that you have been seeing about, are expressing a desire to go back to the port from which they had flown from originally.
Oh.
Which was not really presented as one of the options.
Yeah. Doesn't make a lot of sense. You're pulled through a wormhole, people. You're not gonna make it back there that easy.
Yeah.
I don't.
Do you want to interject in this conversation, or are you cooling your heels for a bit?
I do want to wait just in case the robed figures speak out specifically about a location. But Vex is, like, murmuring around to some of the obvious, like, cruise participants. Just be like, I mean, if you're looking to finish your vacation, wouldn't the water planet seem fun? That seems like a tropical getaway.
Let's see. I think this is definitely a connect, right? I should really go read these better. No, talk. It's a talk.
Okay. Oh, man.
You're making good points for rich people to take in consideration, though.
Yeah. I got a 5.
Okay. You win some of them over with this line of thinking. Not all of them are convinced, but it made a difference.
Yeah.
I think between you convincing some of the passengers and just general talk, the decision seems to have become, let's go to that water-based planet.
Right.
Thankfully, the Starview Oasis is a amphibious vessel.
Yeah.
So even if you don't find land right away, you're going to be okay. Yeah. It's going to take several weeks for you to reach this destination.
God.
But at least it's a destination.
Yeah.
With this decision made, would you continue to try to hide out in the cabin? Is that too long for you to hide out in the cabin? Are you going to explore the ship?
Yeah, I think there's a point in which Vex thinks they can hide out in the cabin long enough, but then I assume things happen where he grows closer to the families he's stowed away with. And then realizes, should they find him here, they're gonna mess with these families. So I think, after a couple of days of just staying in the cabin, Vex is gonna try to look around. It's a big ship, so...
It is a very big ship. Would you like me to tell you more about the amenities on this ship?
Yeah.
Okay, let me find my ship stuff. So from looking at the map, you can tell that there are 17 pools. As mentioned before, 6 buffet areas, 8 fine dining areas, 4 dance clubs, 3 spas, and other recreational areas. So you could, play intergalactic skee ball, I guess. There's a lot going on this ship. There was previously entertainment programming scheduled, but... Captain Moga, I think, understandably, has shifted her resources to other things. One of the concerns, I think you've overheard a living crew member discuss with one of the androids, is that the food that was brought for this journey was definitely not enough to sustain this many people for any extended period of time.
Need some help with that. I'm a pretty good farmer, don't know how much land's here to work with, if they're using a replicator for food, or what we can do in that regard.
I think the best stat on this sheet for that would be survive, if you want to try to make a difference in that regard.
Yeah, I would. Okay, that's good. 8.
8. The upper decks do have gardens.
Okay.
They are currently being used for more aesthetic plants. So whether or not they actually have the supplies to actually change it to be a food-producing resource is hard to say. You might have to ask around about that. In any case, if you do manage to start farming up there, it's not going to produce food before you reach that planet.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just tell the android, if you can get word to your captain that, maybe we should shut down the buffets, at least. It just feels like a lot of food waste in both of the buffets being open at this current time. That might help us out.
Your feedback is appreciated, sir. I will alert the captain. Would you like to rate your service upon the Starview Oasis?
Yeah, sure, I got a minute.
I love him. He's great. Yeah, you take this survey, you live out your days kind of wandering about. I think you've had a couple more run-ins with this order. One of which then leads you to discover that they're not the only ones after this being.
Oh,
God. So there are some people on this ship from Halcyon Enterprises. They're very easily recognizable by their uniforms, and some of them were on the colony planet that you were on. Halcyon Enterprises, has their thumbs in a lot of pies. So it's really hard to figure out what they do and what they do not do. But in one of the situations where you're trying to get away from the Order of the Seventh Son, you see one of these Halcyon people see you in this being that you have to carry right now because you're running.
Yep. Not fast enough.
And she breaks out in a sprint towards you.
Oh, man. As they're running away, Vex is just yelling at the little one. Is there anyone on the ship that isn't after you? You gotta let me know if there's more people.
They shrug all their little shoulders. Let's do another survive to get away from these people.
another 8.
Yeah, you manage it. And the way that you manage it is somewhat surprising. You get down an air duct that plops you into a cargo hold.
Okay.
Now, this is a luxury cruise ship. It's going to have places for cargo to make sure that it is well equipped to take care of the people that are on the ship. But none of these crates are labeled. And at first glance, you're not finding a door back out.
Cool. Vex will put the little one on top of a crate, just to keep him somewhere, as he'll look around to see if there's any kind of crowbar or tool to pry open one of these boxes to see if you can take a peek inside.
Yeah, I think after enough digging around, you manage to find a crowbar, and you prop this baby open, and inside you see vast quantities, even in this one crate, of fui. Now, to someone who hasn't been doing as many odd jobs as you, they might not immediately know what fui is, but you know that this is a highly dangerous drug to most known life forms. It can allow the user to go days, even weeks, without adequate food, but if it is misused, it will cause the user to become addicted. At that point, the user might rely on the drug to the point of starvation. I think that's as much as you know about fui right now.
He'll close the crate and look back at the little one. There is a lot going on this ship. I just feel like normally I hop from job to job, I have a lot going on in my life. But this past couple of weeks has been a whirlwind of stuff heading my way, you know. But maybe we can use this. And he taps the crate.
The being nods enthusiastically, although I don't know that they understand what is in the crate.
Yeah.
And then they spin in circles to represent the whirlwind that your life has become.
And then, Vex will try to find a way out since he hasn't seen a door.
It takes even longer than it took to find you the crowbar. There is essentially a panel that, when pressed, slides into the wall to let you out.
Good.
And then when you're on the other side, it closes again, and you can't see it. So you have found a room of a highly dangerous and a highly illegal drug.
Yeah. Alright, I don't trust a lot of people here on Starview Oasis. I don't know. It's dangerous, but if we're gonna go starving anyway, there's no reason we couldn't, adequately portion off fui for everyone. Just to keep us going until we made it to the water planet.
This tiny being is now distracted and doing cartwheels down the hallway.
Alright, those probably look really cool with your 5 arms, huh?
Oh.
I could try to get to the captain again. I feel like that might be the best bet. I know they're under a big deal of stress.
They stop cartwheeling and just kind of walk back to you. Like, okay, that sounds like a plan.
We'll pick him up and throw him on her shoulder.
I think he has about found his way back to one of the main areas when he does see this captain, who, honestly, I think he's only seen that one time when everyone was making the decision about where to go.
Yeah.
I think it's been a couple weeks since then. At this point, some areas of her fur are really matted. She's stressed.
Yeah. I bet, poor thing. Vex will run up to her, and he doesn't know what pleasantries to do, so, you'd see, he's waving, he's doing, kind of a half bow. He's just, trying to show respect to her as a captain, but doesn't know, what to do, really. Captain Moga?
Yes, I'm sorry, are you one of the refugees?
Yes, I am. I was on was on Shyline at the time working a job.
I'm terribly sorry for your planet.
It's, no skin off my back, actually, but you probably are unaware of this, but there's a room here on your ship that's packed to the gills with fui.
Her 4 eyes go huge. And she says, "Pardon me?"
Yeah, for reasons that we'll keep between myself and this little one here for the time being, I ended up in an air duct led me to what seems to be a well-hidden room on this starcraft. And I found some crates that are just filled to the brim with fui.
She starts massaging the sides of her head like she has a very sudden migraine.
And I know it's a lot, but I don't know if you know about the properties of fui. I know food is running low here on the ship, and I mean, if we were able to portion off a tiny bit of fui off to everyone, it would stave hunger until we were able to make it to the next planet.
I do agree with you. I'm also incredibly vexed that someone smuggled this material onto my ship. This is a hell of a journey to be a captain on for the first time. All right. Will you show me where this is?
Yeah, of course. You just follow me, and Vex will head back the way he came to try to find the secret room again.
I think you find it. It's
Yeah.
fine. And you now have this resource to share on the ship. And that is the end of this episode. I did accidentally create the story to be much longer than an hour, so I have schemes on how to continue this particular story, but you can just wait and see how that turns out. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a wonderful day, and stay safe and cozy. It's been cold out there. Bye-bye.
Sorry, I'm waiting for my dog to quit barking.
I totally get it. My in-laws have a corgi, and it happens all the time.
He is a corgi mix, it's funny.
Yeah, there was one time when my mother-in-law was trying to say something along the lines of, "Oh, score!" But Zabi assumed that she said squirrel and lost her mind.
Oh, you're really going at it, aren't you, boss?
What kind of dog is he?
He's a Australian Shepherd corgi mix.
Oh
and then
my
something else
god.
a little, yeah.
Be gay. Roll dice.
An LGBTQIA actual play podcast network.